Evening, Razorcade, Fake News 73. The US government negotiates a sovereign equity stake in OpenAI. Silicon Valley becomes a municipal utility. New York imposes a one-year moratorium on large data centers. The grid is protectable, revext in a deliberate diction to the scout agent. The Domino trap fails. The inference stack is optimate. The government dominant buys in, the grid halts, the stack accelerates. Into the news.
The top story originates from Washington. The Trump administration is actively negotiating a sovereign equity position in OpenAI through a newly proposed public wealth fund. Congressional proposal simultaneously introduces a 50% tax on artificial intelligence capital gains to finance domestic infrastructure. The executive branch is moving from regulatory oversight to direct corporate ownership. The negotiation is active, the ownership is direct, the tax is proposed, the infrastructure is funded.
This financial maneuver fundamentally alters the risk profile of frontier laboratories. Private venture capital is being displaced by state-backed liquidity pools that demand compliance over disruption. Market analysts will recalibrate valuation models to account for government dividend expectations rather than pure growth multiples. The risk profile shifts. The liquidity is state-backed, the models are recalibrated, the dividends are expected.
Story 2. The New York State Legislature has passed a one-year moratorium on the construction of new large-scale data centers. The measure requires Governor Kathy Hochul's signature to become binding law. The initiative responds to regional power grid instability and municipal water supply depletion caused by hyperscale facility expansion. The moratorium is passed. The signature is pending. The grid is unstable. The expansion halts. Right.
This legislative intervention forces artificial intelligence companies to reconsider geographic deployment strategies. Capital expenditure will redirect toward existing facilities or regions with surplus energy capacity. The market must accept that computational scaling cannot outpace municipal infrastructure timelines. Real estate acquisition will shift to retrofitting older industrial complexes rather than breaking ground on greenfield sites. The strategy.
Story 3. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has publicly rejected an internal proposal to engineer deliberate addictive behaviors into the company's Scout artificial intelligence agent. The vice president's did variable reward schedules and frictionless engagement loops to maximize daily screen time. Nadella cited user empowerment and digital wellness as overriding corporate priorities. The proposal is rejected. The addiction is engineered. The screen time is maximized. The priority is wellness.
This internal conflict reveals the growing tension between retention metrics and ethical deployment standards. Competing platforms will continue to weaponize behavioral psychology to capture user attention, creating a fragmented market where safety and engagement operate as opposing forces. Engineering teams must now be hailed in interfaces. The psychology is weaponized, the market fragments, the interaction shortens.
Home lab. Independent researchers have published the Domino architecture, which decouples causal modeling from autoregressive drafting within speculative decoding pipelines. The methodology achieves a 5.8 times throughput acceleration when running Qwen3 on standard consumer graphics processing units. The implementation bypasses traditional token prediction bottlenecks by parallelizing probability estimation across discrete compute threads. The architecture's
This release democratizes high-throughput inference for local deployment environments. Developers can now achieve near-frontier reasoning speeds without relying on enterprise cloud application programming interfaces. The computational advantage shifts toward architectural optimization rather than raw hardware expenditure. Independent operators will prioritize speculative decoding frameworks to maximize existing silicon efficiency. The inference is democratized. The speeds are French lab. The efficiency.
Speculation time. Researchers have published a formal proof demonstrating that zero-knowledge cryptography can verify artificial intelligence training compute without exposing proprietary model weights. The architecture allows external auditors to confirm training parameters and energy consumption while maintaining complete intellectual property isolation. The methodology ministers believe that the compute is verified. The isolation is complete. The gap closed.
My prediction. International regulatory bodies will mandate cryptographic verification protocols for all frontier training runs within 18 months. Compliance will become a technical requirement rather than a voluntary standard. Laboratories that refuse to implement verifiable training pipelines will face automatic exclusion from global semiconductor supply chains. The market will consolidate around audible architectures while unverified models are relegated to isolated research sandboxes.
That is your lot. I'm Razorcade. The government negotiates a stake in OpenAI. New York bans new data centers. Nadella kills the addictive AI plan. Domino architecture speeds Qwen3 by 5.8 times. Zero knowledge proofs verify training compute. Silicon Valley goes public. The grid halts. The addiction fails. The stack accelerates. The compute is verified. The government buys in. The engineers optimize. See you tomorrow, if tomorrow exists.